This is eviction based on non-payment of rent. A file is Exhibit A. There's a lease agreement. Defendant moved in on June the 20th of 2025 and paid a 1 month prorated rent. The monthly rent is $1,400. Defendant has failed to pay rent starting in the month of July to today. So as of today, we have not received any rent. Based on paragraph 23.1, if rent is not paid on or before the first of each month, is a default under the lease, which gives us the right to file for evictions. So based on the breach, my client has made tendered a 30-day notice to vacate on October 22nd of 2025. I have personally mailed that notice to vacate myself by first class and certified mail with tracking. The tracking number shows that the notice to vacate was delivered.
Real quick, high level, guys. It looks like she has not paid rent in about 6 months, apparently. So that's kind of where we are, just so you're tracking.
And I did wait an additional 30 days before I filed. It was delivered on October 29, and we didn't file until December the 2nd. So as of today, defendant owes rent rated to December 31st at $9,258.06. And we're seeking
You said it's $1,400 a month?
Yeah.
And so for July wasn't paid.
July wasn't paid. July through December 31st.
So July, August, September, October, November, December, that's 6 months, right?
Yes.
So 6 times 1,400.
8,400. Yep, that's correct. 8,400.
Okay.
And then we're seeking rent, possession, car costs, and attorney's fees, $750. That represent 2.5 hours of my time.
Okay. And so I'm looking through the documents that were filed with the petition. The only notice to vacate was mailed to her, or was there ever one given to her in person?
Yes, Your Honor,
it was Landry. Say it again, please.
I'm sorry. Yes, there was a notice left on the residence door.
Okay. So, Ms. Owens, are you still living there on the property at Easton Park Apartments?
Yes.
Okay. And did you get that notice to vacate?
The notice I got for vacate was the one, it was just more so of a balance due. And then also I received the one from Jeff. It was in the mailbox.
Okay. And so that was back in October. After you got that notice, did you contact them to see what kind of payment arrangements were made, or did you disagree with the amounts that they say were due under the lease?
Yes, I did reach out to Stacy, and I mentioned to her if I was able to make partial payments. She did mention to me that I had to wait and see what we do when I went to court.
Okay. And so no partial payments have been accepted, is that correct?
That is
And so, and were you trying to get us?
See, fortunately, y'all, this is the slickness that I'm able to pick up on now because we've been doing this for a little bit. The slickness. So they've already gone through the court proceedings, right? They're in the thick of this as far as getting her up out of there. And see, this leads me to think that she has a certain understanding of the law. The reason I say this, by the way, if you guys could take a second right now, like the video, I'd appreciate it. It takes 1 second and it helps the channel tremendously. But so she understands the law in that a lot of times once they start this process, they cannot take partial payments. Otherwise, if they take any form of payment, because they already started the process with certain numbers and certain things in order, if they take that partial payment that you try to give them, what will end up happening is it'll pretty much destroy the case, and then they have to start over again. And in a lot of states, the laws are very ironclad, and it can take a lot of time in order to get somebody out. So usually the only thing that they'll accept is if you're willing to pay the full balance of what you owe. But see, people will try to do this partial payment thing. I owe $8,000. Can I pay you $600? Because now they can pay the $600 And then it restarts the process all over again, which ultimately restarts that timeline all over again and gives them more time for them to be able to turn that $8,000 balance into a $16,000 balance. And then you're screwed. So that's why they're not accepting any partial payments, I believe, because this is they understand these tactics, and it's just not going to work. At this point, they just want you up out of there. Like the video, please.
Assistance at some point in time, and we're waiting to hear back from nonprofit.
Yes, I'm still waiting for assistance as of right now. And then I do have a new job, which I start on January the 9th as well.
Every time we get to this point, they always got a new job they're just about to start. Incredible.
Okay. Well, who's Amaya? Is that sister, daughter? Who's Amaya?
That's my daughter.
Okay. How old is she?
She's 20.
Okay. And does she also live there?
Yes.
Is she a student? Is she working?
No, she's not working or.
Is she disabled, or is she a dependent of yours?
Yeah, she's just a dependent of mine. No, she's not disabled.
A 20-year-old dependent.
So, where have you sought assistance? Or are you waiting to hear back from El Buen or something like that?
Yes, I'm actually waiting for assistance. It's called for it's the St. Austin Catholic Church and School for the assistance is who I'm waiting for.
And did they give you an estimate of how much they would be able to help you with if they were able to help you?
Not just yet.
Okay. All right. So unfortunately, this is not going in a good direction for you, because I mean, if you haven't been able to pay your rent or keep up with the rent as it came up due, and they wouldn't accept partial payments, then I mean, you owe the rent, and the lease has been broken. Okay, so you haven't been able to keep the terms of the lease, so they're entitled to the greater right of possession of the property, and so I'm going to grant them the eviction. You have 5 days to appeal this judgment. Today is not the final judgment. You can still appeal. You would have to post a bond to do that. But you may want to get some legal advice if you want to pursue that route and get a new trial at county court. But right now, Mr. Lung's asking for the rent of, and all they're entitled to ask for is the rent and court costs and possibly attorney's fees. He's asking for the $715 attorney's fees, which I'm going to grant, and then the back rent of $8,400. Now, there may be other things on your ledger, such as utilities or parking or trash, or I don't know what else they may put on your ledger. Late fees, they're not entitled to get that in a judgment. That doesn't mean you don't owe it. It just means that in a judgment, all they're entitled to get is the back rent. I don't know what caused them to wait so long to file this case. Usually I think they may have to give a 30-day notice to vacate, and that's been in place. But sometimes some apartments give a 30-day notice to vacate, immediately after the first violation of the lease. So if they waited 6 months, is a long time. And you may have some funds, but you may need those funds to find another place to live, or appeal the judgment. But you've got 5 days to do so. Otherwise, if you haven't appealed or you haven't moved out, their next step is to come back to court and ask for something called a writ of possession. With the writ of possession, the constables go to the property to keep the peace, but they enter the property and take all your possessions out to the sidewalk. So and change the locks and do what they need to do to take possession. So that's not a pleasant situation. So make arrangements with Stacy. It sounds like y'all had a civil relationship to be able to converse about plans, but that's the ultimate step they have to take. In fact, if you don't.
See, I see exactly what's going on here. See, she's trying to be slick with these timelines. Let me explain. But first, other black folks in the comments, let me ask y'all a question. The question I have is, how many of y'all single moms, and I'm talking about the children of single moms, how many of y'all moms is going to let y'all be 20 years old, living in the house, rent free and you're not in school and you're not working a job. It just doesn't happen very much. So what I'm ultimately trying to say here is the truth is far more sinister. Let me explain. Did she seem like she was really caring? She even said it. My daughter's a dependent. That's cool. She can be a dependent. Why? Because it comes back down to timelines. And the timeline is she's trying to get these assistance things to come through. So what we see here is that she's actually okay with her daughter not working, because actually I think she would have a problem if her daughter did work, because then what would happen is it would probably mess up her benefits, right? And she's also probably getting, some tax benefits from claiming her as a dependent as well. But ultimately, she doesn't want it to interfere with her benefits that's going to come through. So I wouldn't be surprised if she actually doesn't want her daughter to work, because it doesn't make sense that you and your 20-year-old daughter only have $1,400 rent and you haven't put anything on it. You haven't paid anything and you've gotten behind 6 months. So that's ultimately what I've come up with and what I believe. But y'all tell me what y'all believe.
Don't give up possession of the property. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Mr. Lung, did you have a proposed judgment, or do you want me to go use the court's judgment?
Use the court judgment will be fine, Your Honor.
So $8,400 for rent from July to December, the attorney's fees of $750, and the court costs. All right.
Yes, sir.
Any questions, Miss Owens?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck on your new job. And this is a debt you have, and so you can make arrangements to with Miss Leandre to take care of that as you can. But the court's not involved. Any payments that need to be made will be made to the property. Once those payments are made, they ask them to file a what is that called? Satisfaction and judgment.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Lung, you have another case.
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Involving Jessner.
She's not paying nothing on this. It's only going to get worse, because they still got a few more steps they got to complete in order to ultimately get her up out of there. But I've already told you what I think about this situation. This is really sad that this happens so much. And ultimately, in my opinion, I feel like the 20-year-old daughter is who's really going to lose out on this. And here's why. Because she's witnessed all these slick tactics, all this manipulation of the system, all this just doing people wrong solely to be able to preserve yourself at the cost of other people. And she's probably witnessed this her entire life. And she's probably going to also imitate this same behavior in life. So that's just probably going to be one other person out here who is, just having bad character and leaving a wake of destruction everywhere they go. But, when you're in their face, they'll just be so pleasant. But meanwhile, all this destruction in their in their rear that they've left, is still present. There, y'all do me a favor, like the video. Also, YouTube has a new feature called Hype. And what hyping does on the video is it helps smaller content creators. And what YouTube will do is the more that you hype, the more that it pushes us. And it actually pushes us the same way that it pushes the larger content creators. So if you could like and hype the video, I'd appreciate it. And also Patreon's link below if you want to see self-improvement content. Until then, I'll catch you in the next video.